Hey all, just a short one today. We're going to be chatting with Dr. Flora Yau, who's an MD in the US, and we're going to be going through some of the insights from our We Love Our Heart Pioneer program, which we've run several successful ones so far. There's another one coming up. So great to see you, Dr. Flora.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Ivor.
Flora.
And Mark. And Mark, of course.
Always good,
Mark.
Ivor. Always good. Hi.
Very good. So I'll kind of let you guys run with it, and it's great to have Flora here to give her perspective from an MD's viewpoint, though it really is mainly for lay people, but great to have a medical doctor's perspective too.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, Flora, to have you with us. And to be honest, I was a little bit not worried, but nervous at first because I thought, oh, wow, Flora, she's an MD. You know, what can she learn, and what can she? More importantly, you can bring a lot with us, but what can you take away? So I just want to say, how was it for you, and what brought you to us, and how was it? What did you take away from it all at the end of the day?
Yeah, no, it was a wonderful, I can't remember, 3 months, 12 weeks. It
Yeah.
was a really great experience for myself. I first got introduced to your program because of Ivor. A patient of mine had asked me a couple years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, if I was interested in learning about the carnivore diet. And, they know that I'm very open to everything out there because I myself was trained as a scientist. I was in a PhD, biochemistry PhD program, along with my medical program. So I have a background in research. And so anyways, I told her, yes, I definitely would be interested in learning about it. And my husband had bought me a car at that time. So I finally were able to listen to podcasts in my car while I'm driving. So it became my classroom. And Ivor was my classroom. My kids call you the penguin guy.
Penguin. Penguin.
Yes, because there's an emperor penguin. So
Ah.
I learned a lot from him. And every time I get in the car, the kids, learn about insulin resistance. I mean, learn about everything, along with me. So anyway, so then Ivor had told us, I was a Patreon supporter, and Ivor told us about the We Love Our Heart program, invited us for the Q&A session with all the speakers, panel speakers, at a very, very affordable pricing. For doctors, conferences usually cost at least $500-600 more, but this is a $49 deal. I mean, it was just amazing, right? So again, because I'm time zone challenged, I had a hard time participating, listening to all the talks, but I was able to participate in some of the Q&A. So that was really cool to be able to interact with these specialists, experts around the world, and ask questions. It was a really fascinating dialogue. Anyway, so then the way I met Mark and got into the Pioneer program was, funny thing was, I was going over my taxes and I got charged many times over for the program, the We Love Our Heart program. So I reached out to him and asked him if he could, set me up to contact with someone to figure out what's going on with my charges. And then that was when he was launching the Pioneer 6 program. And he told me that, maybe I might be interested in participating. And I said, sure. I think I was the last person, the last day. He was kind enough to, talk to me at probably wee hours of the night over there in Germany. And I joined. I was very excited. I don't really per se have heart disease, but it was really interesting to see the panel of people just like my patients that had heart attacks. And I want to learn because I know so much more from Ivor. I mean, he is probably better than any of my medical school classes that I've taken. That I want to see what I could learn to help my patients. And I have helped people from Ivor. I used the calcium coronary scoring. I had a guy that actually came back with a 4,000 score. And we never even knew he had heart disease. He had diabetes, so I had seen firsthand, what the power of the tests could do. And I knew about the whole history about it from Ivor, from the whole history about it from the movies that they made. Anyways, I was really disappointed when I urgently sent him to cardiology. The only thing they did was they just put him on high dose statins. The patient did not want to be on any medicine. I mean, we went on a low carb diet, time restricted eating. He was able to lose 40 pounds, got off all his medicines, but he basically got put on statins, for this high score. And anyways, needless to say, I'm very disappointed with conventional medicine. I think, along with Mark's story, I was just impressed that he wanted to share his, what happened to him and his passion to help others. And so I was hoping to learn from the group, and see what I could bring to my patients. I'm a family medicine doctor, board certified. I treat people of all ages, mostly the seniors. But, I see a lot of stories like that. I have lots of cases in my mind. So anyways, from the first, I love, Mark's weekly, blog with his how to make yogurt, his recipes. I mean, it really brings life to the program. And then meeting all these panels, listen to all these different experts, Ivor and Dr. Levy.
I was going to say, you even attended his
Yes.
workshop afterwards, right?
Yeah,
Which is
I
good for
attended
you,
his
right?
workshop. Thanks to you guys, I was introduced to a lot of different people. I review my notes because so much had happened, but, like Graham Phillips, I want to try to consult with him and understand more about the CGM, because I have tried it on myself and not really sure that I am getting the right information from that. So I think being in the program like Gabor, that was amazing, being myself in science with a science biochemistry background. I really appreciate his view on metabolism, not looking at, like when they're talking about microbiome, he's talking about how we're not really worrying about the bacteria that you're taking. It'll work when you take it, but what is going on fundamentally, the inflammation that is destroying the microbiome, that is causing inflammation, vascular inflammation, so he really gets down to the root cause. And I am interested to understanding the root causes of diseases, like what Mark was saying and what you've been teaching us, is that is really the only way we're going to be able to help people.
Yeah, for sure, Flora. And it was ever thus, root cause is the core. Even in my industrial career, it's always root cause. Everything else is a band-aid. And in the Pioneer program, of course, lay people who had heart attacks, who have concerns about heart disease, get to come along and share experiences and get all the insights we can bring from the science. And of course, we can bring along experts like Gabor Doshi and many others to join the conversation with their perspectives.
But, we also learn from our patients and from the whole panel of experts. All the panel participants, because that's something they have been focusing on, because that's their personal experiences. Just hearing from them, heart rate variability. Mark brings us all these bizarre things I've never heard of. Structure water, Dr. Cohen's idea,
Tom Cohen, yeah.
Even myself being Chinese, he introduced the idea of the Chinese medicine helping. So it was really a really well-rounded experience.
Right. We try and put a broad perspective on it, Flora, and of course you brought a lot of wisdom and knowledge to the group as well. And like you said, it's often the interchange and the exchange within the group that is of great value as well, because it helps us all, relieve our anxieties and that this feeling, oh, I'm alone in this. Well, you're not alone in this. We've got a place here where you can share with others who feel very similar, who've got a very similar sort of background. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, if you're part of a community, it makes so much difference. And I often mention to people, for people with children who have type 1 diabetes, type 1 grit, all one word, on Facebook is a fantastic community, and it really helps people stay on the program. And recently, actually, I gave two keynotes to a Nutritional Therapists of Ireland conference. And one of them was all on nutrition and health, of course, and chronic disease. But there was a lady I met there in the audience, and she runs fasting kind of events or retreats possibly, and they're around 5, 6 days long. And she's been doing it for 12 or 14 years, long before the fasting became a big thing more recently. And she ran a recent program with a whole bunch of people, and they all had varying degrees of chronic diseases and, skin conditions, psoriasis, and obviously obesity and fatty liver and diabetes type problems. But at the end of the week, there was a dramatic change in pretty much every person there because they were fasting all week with the community support, which made it easier for them. And after a couple of days of fasting, the real hunger drops away. Some people say there's a kind of euphoria. But of course, the insulin, the cortisol, and all the problematic things are all plummeting. And the disease states are greatly regressing. So at the end of 5 or 6 days, there were dramatic improvements and quasi remission of some really intractable kind of problems. So it's amazing, and community is a huge part of it.
And that's what we try and offer, right, Ivor? Like I say, it's about trying to reduce people's anxiety. Before we even talk about medications and supplements, just being able to reduce the anxiety is a big factor in improving your health.
Yeah, and I often have to raise that point with people that anxiety in itself is introducing an element of risk. So, raised cortisol and chronic stress, raised insulin is actually making your feared outcome more likely. So, people have to find a way to manage that, and instead of simply being concerned all the time about it, to work with people and allay your concerns by actually taking action and understanding your blood markers, and as you see them improve, relaxing more, which in itself will improve your blood markers. So it's a really important point. Community, of course, is a big part of that, and the support to help allay fears and share knowledge. And that's kind of what it's all about.
Brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant. And like I say,
I have personal experience with that myself. I mean, I don't have per se heart disease, but after I had COVID, I did end up with POTS like symptoms with autonomic dysfunction, and trying to understand. And I am in that metabolic pre-diabetic problems right now with blood sugar, and I feel like it's coming from my cortisol. It is not coming from food. And so using myself as the subject and applying everything, and it all ties back into metabolic diseases. And so I really treasure the program. I felt like I made some friends. Some of the participants, we actually communicate through WhatsApp, outside of, when I finally figure out how to use it. And so it's been great experience, and listening to, you and Mark, and yeah, it's been a very, very wonderful journey, part of my health journey too. And hopefully, I can help my patients better. I'm very disappointed with conventional medicine. I feel like, we really don't help anybody except just to give them a pill and treat their symptoms. But I've been studying functional medicine the last couple of years. And, I am the root cause person. I want to understand what's happening, at the cellular level, because I really think that's how we're going to help somebody. So we can be ready for the next pandemic, whatever comes, our way. We metabolically have to be healthy. Can't count on anybody else but ourselves. The body is designed to heal. And I feel that we have to optimize every opportunity we can to meet the next thing that comes around the corner.
Brilliant. Couldn't have said it better myself, Flora. Yeah.
Well said, Flora, and absolutely agree, Mark. And I know we want to keep this short, and I think Flora has to go look after her father. So we might wrap it at that. Great chat, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And Ivor, just to say, the next one's about to start, so we'll the usual way is I'll give you a link. You can drop it in there, and anyone's interested, come and have a chat to me. See if we were a fit. Cool.
Perfect, Mark, and we'll wrap it up at that. And as I always say, the links are in the description box below and in the first comments. So looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Good luck, everyone.